This is Anna Olsen on my segment today here on A1R Radio, Insights into Consciousness with Anna Olsen. And I'm going to do a little bit of teaching today and then a reading live on the air. And those go worldwide. I'm super excited about that. But today I am going to go into a little bit of what my book is going to be about. So I've had a lot of people ask me to write a book. And then in a few readings over and over again that I had, I was told that, it would be a good idea to write a book. And that wasn't something that I originally thought, I would be doing. But I am working on one. And the more that I make notes and start to work on this book, the more I am realizing that I'm getting downloads from spirit and from that divine place to start writing a book. So sometimes these things come through and it's just information that ties in nicely to my basic skill set that I already have. And when you're working with a skill set that you already have, like let's say I have some training in anatomy, physiology, then spirit will communicate to me in that way. So the more skill sets that we have as readers or as people, the more we can get downloads about that topic. Meaning, if you have a lot of training like I do, like let's say in anatomy or life sciences, then spirit can give you more information pertaining to life sciences and anatomy of the body and of the spirit that people don't quite have right now. So it's a very nice way to use and utilize your gifts and talents to get message from spirit. So that applies to all of us. Whenever any of us have a skill set, a heart surgeon would get downloads about the heart, or on a even molecular structure sort of way, like information on whatever they understand or can perceive. This is why education is so important for not just everyone, but especially for your reader. The more information that you can utilize from your education or just from things that you studied over the years, it doesn't necessarily have to be a degree. There are people who are specialists in things that don't have a degree per se in this day and age. And yeah, you need training in certain things to do, technological things and things like that. But when we're talking about things that your reader needs to know, it's a good idea for them to be educated in things like how to work with somebody in, let's say, a psychological way before they start delving into very sensitive topics. And that's why I'm just grateful I came across the training that I have for experiential psychology and life coaching, and that I graduated from a program in Los Angeles, and that I was able to utilize that skill set that was very intensive. I worked really hard to get through that, and that I can utilize that now when I do readings for people. So every single thing, every single skill, every single bit of training that everyone has can be utilized in that way. And I really hold education near and dear to my heart because that brings you a lot of skill set. It helps everybody in their life more. In it, even if you're just, taking advantage of all of those, those really elaborate free college sessions online. I mean, I think Princeton has some, Princeton University, there's some pretty great schools that have some great reputations that are actually giving out free education. And anything that, really just kind of dances with your soul, like anything that really pertains to what you love and what you just really hold near and dear to your heart is really something that any of us can benefit from because of the immense opportunity that gives anyone. So a lot of my training that I've had in the past, life sciences, life coaching, experiential psychology, my experience with even family law, and my own experience in family law and getting full custody of, my children in this, court thing that I was in years ago. It really does, it is a very interesting process to go through, and it could be very, very stressful. You're always building through life's different trials, different skills that you can utilize, not only to help yourself, but to help others. Then you always have a skill set that you can offer to other people. And I think the more that we help other people and things that we have experience in, the more useful we are to as a community or as, friends, family, community. And so I just really love to basically share those gifts that I have, and then hopefully other people can share their gifts with me and their talents with me. So that's basically what I'm going to start with, is that I did get one download, and that was pretty recent. I just wanted to share that on today's show because I feel like it was very important that each one of us, we have a lifeline or a divine connection to the divine, to this amazing wealth of knowledge, and it basically kind of just goes around the earth and around our atmosphere, and we can tap into that and tether to that anytime that we need help with something that we're not figuring out ourselves. There's going to be things we're not going to be able to figure out ourselves, and so if we are able to just utilize that divine connection to source and bring down whatever message spirit has for us, either in a way of information or education that helps us along, is the best case scenario. So, a download that I thought was very interesting is that when we are in our element as human beings here, we have a higher self. Each one of us has a higher self. And it's our spirit, or you could call it, or some people call it our soul. But my understanding of a soul is our body and our spirit together as one. Some people just call the spirit the soul. So I just want to be clear on definitions and to be sure that, I'm making myself clear that we all have a higher self. And to me, the way I describe that would be our spirit that animates the body. And there are two parts to each one of us: the higher self and then our mortal body self. And one of the downloads that I was shown recently was that our higher self is learning progressively and very tediously to pilot this body, and our higher self is much higher and farther away than I ever imagined. It's almost like a puppeteer controlling a puppet. Our higher self is the puppet master, and our bodies are pretty much the puppet. And some people call them meat puppets, and that's just a very interesting way to say it. But the way that I perceive it is that we don't always have a really great control over our puppet. Sometimes our higher self is really struggling with this. And sometimes our higher self really needs a lot of help and guidance to get us back into our element of full and total control of our bodies, especially when somebody's dealing with things like addiction or, things that kind of take over our free agency or free will. So, it was very interesting to me to see the visual that spirit allowed me to see, that we each have a higher self that basically has a cord down to our body and is really doing its best to control our body. And sometimes our body wants to control the spirit. And it's our job to make sure that our higher self, or our spirit, some people call that the soul. But some people, just still see it the same way, that it's our spirit or our higher self controlling that body and making sure that our bodies have, what we need. And not just that, but we're making sure that our bodies aren't just kind of either out of our control or, going out of control. So those are the two, possibilities that I can foresee. But it was interesting for spirit to show me that. And spirit has shown me a lot of different things like that, which I'm including in my book. I'm already kind of putting together a lot of notes and just starting that project, but that is coming. And I really want to share a lot of these things that I get from spirit. That's just one teeny tiny bit. There's so many other things that I have to share. And I will be doing not just a basic book on like pretty much just layman's terms of what is happening in our bodies and our spirits and our auras that affect not just us but those around us in our lives. But I'm also going to write a book that is much more geared towards, like, let's say, medical practitioners or doctors, and using a lot of anatomical physiological terms that spirit has shown me. So it's really going that deep into how we function and how we present in the world, and then also the brain and how our brain is affected not just by our environment growing up as children and babies, but also how physiologically our body affects our spirit and our spirit affects our body. So there's like this back and forth that I have not just been researching for many years, but now that I really, really want to share these downloads that I'm getting, not just from the spirit that I'm in connection with. I mean, some people would call it God or goddess or whatnot, but also the messages that I get from my own guides and from readings that I do. So many readings that I do, I'm taking notes because I'm learning so much all of the time. I'm learning so much from people's loved ones who have passed. And with the person who's sitting in front of me, I'm able to learn and grow from their loved ones coming in. And I have to take notes after note after note to get down all the vast information that's just coming through like a rush, like a waterfall, it's just incredible. It's like a wave of information that I have to take notes on quickly so that I don't forget it. That's shared from the other side, that's shared from the spirit world and, other people's higher selves. Um, just their pure higher selves. And when you're getting messages from pure higher selves, or people, the information is so quick and vast, and it is so incredible that it's almost sometimes unbelievable. And it's so different than what a lot of us have been taught throughout our lives, either in religion or through teachings that maybe our parents gave us or whatnot, doing their best, of course, is what they knew at the time. But it's such an addition to what we already have. And it's so much more information on top of what we have already been taught, generally speaking. So I'm excited about this book that I'm coming out with. And I also wanted to let you know about a COVID protocol that I have that is not out there to diagnose or to treat any specific disease. And I have to put that disclaimer out there that you always have to seek medical advice from your medical health practitioner, and that it is always your responsibility to do so. But I do have a protocol that has been very successful for many people that I hand deliver to their doors, to their doorsteps, and they're better by morning. I've never met anybody this hasn't worked on quite yet, which is why I say make sure that you follow your medical practitioner's advice. But I have it on my website, the entire protocol with quick links to each thing. And there's specific homeopathic remedies that actually work, and you have to do this in a specific way. So instructions for the protocol are actually on my website with links to how to buy those things online that you need for the protocol. You can find this at AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com. That's my website. And just go to COVID protocol. I also have to put a disclaimer that that's through my Amazon Associates benefits. So I have Susan in Strabane, North Ireland, UK. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'd love to do a reading on you today, Susan. How are you?
I'm fine. Anna, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's so nice to talk to you today. I love your accent, and I know I have an accent when you're speaking to me.
Okay. I can't, I don't have you on speaker, but I'm just listening really close to the phone so I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I just have it close to my ear so I can hear you because I can't put you on speakerphone. So.
Okay. Gosh, I love the way you speak. I first of all would love to just introduce myself. I'm Anna Olsen, and I do readings regularly. I have a practice, and I also do life coaching, which I have been trained in experiential psychology. So just like a quick introduction. And I would like to, first of all, figure out what you would like to focus on today. So, do you have a specific question or do you have a specific topic that you would like to start with?
Well, I'll just tell you my story. I had three deaths. I lost three people in 2020.
Hmm. Okay.
Can you hear me, Anna?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. No, I lost my cousin, I lost my mother, and I lost my aunt in 2020. So,
Okay. I'm sorry to hear about your loss. I'll do my best to do a reading. Um, so would you like me to make contact with them now, or do you have a specific question?
yeah, well, just whoever comes through, like, one of those was my mother.
Mhm. Yes, I first of all, the message that I'm getting with your mother, I do feel her presence. She's a bit she she's kind of what we call, she's a little bit distant, and that just means that she is. I'm picking up on her energy, but it's distant. So sometimes that just means that she would rather go through a spirit guide or have somebody else come through first, and that's usually for really good reason.
Okay.
But the first thing that I'm getting for you is that you have now it makes sense. I'm feeling like she's saying that in your grief process from losing so many people and one at one time, that you are ready for just so much information to come through at a time to process. And just remember that anytime that you want to continue a reading with me, you can always go to my website to continue. So I don't know if we'd have like
Okay.
all enough time today, but I will do my best. The first thing that she
Okay.
is Yeah, the first thing that she's saying is that you're only ready for a little bit right now in your grief process, and that we'll do this very, very gradually. Um, I have just about 10 minutes or so, but she is basically saying that you're going through these steps and that she's saying don't be afraid if you feel angry. So does that make sense to you?
Um, yeah, well, I've kind of been through a lot of the grief process, through all the emotions. Yeah.
She's saying don't be afraid of that anger, that it's normal and natural, and that that's something that you're going to have to really get out right now to proceed to your next level of grief. There's stages that she's showing me, and I've heard of these before, but she's showing me them like on a graph, and she's saying that your readiness for her to show you signs is going to closely relate to where you are in the grief process. And she said that she is
Okay.
ready. She's ready and willing to send you those signs that you need from her, that she still is around, and show herself, her presence to you. She's still willing to do that, but you need to be at that point where you're ready. Does
Okay.
that make
Well,
sense?
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel this tickling on my face at night. It's like a crawling sensation. It's like I would talk to her picture, and then I would say to her, "Mom, is it you? Can you do this crawling?" Like, or like, it feels like a tiny spider on my face. And I'm just wondering, is it her doing that?
Yeah, that is definitely her. And she's doing that at
Yeah.
night because, yeah, you're more in a place at night where you're closer to sleep, which is where spirit will start to come in first to your life to really let you know
Okay.
that they're there and they haven't left you, that they're with you. And she
Okay.
is she's going to come to you in dreams first. She said you will have dreams. You might remember just a little bit of these dreams with her, but she's going to come to you in dreams. Do you remember any dreams as of now that you've had of your mother?
I had one a couple of nights ago, and I think I'd seen the mother and the father, but I wasn't sure. But I remember waking up, and the thing I remember was that they told me that I must have seen them in the dream, but then they told me that they had to go back to heaven. So was that them? Were they in the dream?
Right. So she's helping you to process your grief by starting with the dreams because it's a safe place and it's a place in your subconscious where you're processing so much right now. And as you go through those grief processes and get through the anger part, and it's okay to show that you're angry. It's okay to verbalize that you're angry. You're not going to hurt or inconvenience anybody around you. And it's okay to feel very angry that you have this loss.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main part that I feel like is the next step for you to start getting daily signs from your mother, and where you can get up in the morning and you'll see, sometimes people will see a butterfly or a certain bird or something that they love, that the person that, their loved one appreciated in daily life, show up throughout their day.
Okay, well, today I saw, I don't know if you have them over in America, but I saw a black crow, but it was like a bird. I don't know if you have crows over there, but it had a yellow beak, and it was just sitting on my, in the yard on color, and it was just sitting there. And as I drove in the car past, it just sat. It didn't fly away. It just sat there.
The crow is closely related to the raven, and that ravens have a very high intelligence, and that they are closely related to the crow. The crow is kind of I guess you could say it's a baby to the raven, because we know that ravens are more intelligent than the crow.
Okay.
And when we think about even the raven, we're thinking more about Odin, and we're thinking about the way that the raven would speak to Odin through his ears, and kind of like there was this process of him listening to the raven on his shoulder. And so when we're looking at symbolism and spirituality, this is that there will also be ways that you will hear from your mother, that there will be maybe ideas that will come into your mind, or you might even hear a phrase, something that you can hear, or a song, if there was a favorite song. There's all sorts of ways that spirit can deliver things that we hear. So I would definitely watch out for those things from your mother, because you felt this about the crow significantly outside your window.
Uh-huh.
So I would definitely
sorry to interrupt. I've had definitely lots of signs from my mother since she passed it, but the first one was really, it was on her funeral day, and I actually seen her spirit in the back of the hearse going to the burial place.
Mm-hmm. So you were able to actually see her?
Yeah, someone took a photograph of it, because we were following the hearse. Someone took a photo, and it was only after that I zoomed into the picture, and I was like, whoa, there's my mum and there's my dad, and it was really cool. There was all these spirits. It was like a spirit party in the back of the house. So they were, as if they were celebrating her life or something.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, if there was any way, I don't know if there's any private messaging, but I would love to share it sometime with you, because I think it's incredible. And since that, I see spirit myself a lot. I see them in gravestones, and I would see them in pictures, and people say to me, I might have a gift, but I don't know how to use it. I don't know.
Yeah, on this video, I'll have my website at the bottom, and you can reach me on my website or at Facebook at Anna Olsen Intuitive. And then on the website, it would be annaolsenintuitive.com. And you can always contact me there. You can message me. Email is the best way to reach me, since we're kind of, different countries. That's usually the best way, is my email address. It's on the website. Because I have to go.
Well, maybe if I private message the picture to Connie, is it? The lady that I just joined the group today, would that do?
If you joined what group?
No, I just joined the group today, and then the other lady, Connie, you call her?
Okay, yeah, that would be great. And then you can also reach me through my website, easiest through my email address. And that's on my website, and it's annaolsenintuitive.com. And then I'm also just on Facebook under Anna Olsen Intuitive. I have to end now. I'm sorry. I wish I had more time, but thank you so much for calling in, Susan. I wish you the best of luck. And it sounds like you're very intuitive. I would definitely follow up with those intuition skills and build on them, because it sounds like you have a clear connection to spirit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking too. At least I know I'm not going crazy.
Not at all. No, it is very sane. It is very sane to know that we, have loved ones on the other side.